Give me a second. Alright, so the scraps of memory foam aren't quite enough cushioning here to add something to that, but it's better than the wood. So just a word of thanks to all of you who gave me all these great name suggestions for the Hoard. And in fact, that's the last time you're going to hear me call it the Hoard, because I'm going to read off all of these names to you because I really appreciate the fact that you all took the time to think about this and to add your suggestions. So, and I'm thankful for all of them. It's hard, it's going to be hard to pick some favorites, but I do have ones that I think kind of hit me as something I could say as I describe what's happening in this space, or an idea that points to a philosophy that guides me. So, let me do this. I'm going to read these all. I'm going to put the comment that came with them on the screen below so you all can read them too. And then, what I want to do is I'm going to create a poll. Something we can do here on YouTube, and I think I can link that poll in the video, or you can find it on my channel page in the community tab. Because I'm going to pick the top 5, and then I'm going to let you all vote for the favorite. So we'll make this a combined, a collective exercise, since y'all have been so supportive in this pursuit all along the way here. So, make my readers here. These old eyes need some help. I'm not surprised that a few of you suggested Chipmunk Corner. Yeah, just because I said that was off limits. Talking about you, Gina. SCR also said yes, Chipmunk Corner. Although Gina had a another name, a non-tongue-in-cheek name, which is Stockpile. So Gina, thanks for your contribution. Shasta Fogg had me laughing out loud with her name suggestion, which was Clutter's Last Stand. Yeah, that's about right. She also suggested Treasure Chest. Rob Shamel, my cousin Rob in fact, full disclosure, suggested Green Zone. Rob, thanks for your input. Charlie Rietzma suggested Project Well, or The Well. That's a pretty deep, some deep thinking there, Charlie, appreciate it. Miss the Undone suggested The Stash. In fact, a few of you suggested The Stash, or Stash. Malbert 1964 also suggested The Stash. Donna G says if it were hers, she'd call it The Stash. For me, she suggested calling it Tom's Creative Corner. Thanks, Donna. I do appreciate the fact that you recognize that there's some creativity happening back here. Thank you. Let's see. Paul Schramm suggested Beyond the Wall. What I like about that is it's kind of got that, the wall here is the division between the clean backyard and the messy hoard. I like the idea of moving beyond the wall. And Paul, thank you also for becoming my latest patron. So usually my patrons get recognition in the edited video that happens on Saturday, but Paul, since you have a comment in this list here, I thought I'd thank you here as well also. So you'll get your official mention and your name in the video on Saturday's video. Chris Voss suggested the organized conglomeration of treasured resources. Very cerebral. Feels like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Kind of has that ring to it. I like that. So Jam went on a bit of a jam. He's got about 20 names here. Let me read these off to you. Bunker Bounty, the Cargo Bay, interesting. The Harvest, Prepper's Booty. That one made me laugh out loud. The Black Market, the Pinball Machine, the Kitchen Sink, Forager City Antique Cellar, Holy Rubble, the Repurpose Agreement, the Recycling Center, Pandora's Box, yeah, yes. Human Resources, that one I thought was interesting. It had a kind of that combination of human and resource. That one may be on the short list. Edie also suggested a couple. Edie, thank you for all your amazing comments. Appreciate it. So Edie's ideas were the project corner or project supply. She also had one related to resources, the idea that reuse resources. All of this stuff back here is definitely a resource in terms of my perspective. So Edie, thank you for those contributions. The magic box, Pilar suggested that. I thought that had a nice ring to it. Sarah Young suggested the den. Tracy Perez, the treasure trove. Yes, and she says that that's what her mom calls her hoards. So yeah, appreciate the connection there, and definitely some treasures in this trove, I'll agree. My friend Greg over at Greg's Garage suggested the hut the Hoard built. Greg's actually an architect, so it makes sense that he would want to bring in some construction methodology there. So, you know, if you're a guitar player and you work on your own guitar, Greg actually has a second channel, Skyscraper Guitars, where he makes guitar tools and teaches you how to check that channel out. I'll actually link that one in the description. Thanks, Greg. R. Wind suggested inventory. I like that because I'm gonna go check the inventory, or let's go check out the inventory. It has a nice ring to it. Alarcon 99 suggested the collective, which I like that too. It has the collective is sort of that group of people banded together to get stuff done. And here a collection, yeah, especially if I bring in other people to help me. I've got something in the works on that, by the way. Pooh suggested that we call it HOT, the home of things. I like that, because when I would feel motivation coming on, I could say, I'm feeling hot. Yeah, so thanks Pooh for that. Also appreciate you staying up late to watch my videos in the UK. And Kat Gint, which I just actually found out is also JW Finkler. I was getting great comments from Kat and from JW, and it makes sense to find out that they're in fact the same person. So thank you both. Thank you combined for all of your comments. So JW is suggesting reduce, recycle, reuse resources. So 4 R's there for naming this. And I like that. And then Fred McIntyre, in typical Fred fashion, gave me smiley face, thumbs up, fist bump. That's Fred's normal salutation and encouragement when he comments here on the channel. So Fred, I just assumed that was your name suggestion as well. So we could go emoji with this, maybe. And then finally, L. Whitman says, I call mine Resource Central. So L, I'm gonna take your personal name for your hoard as a suggestion for how I should name mine. And I like the idea of resource. A lot of you actually pulled that into your name suggestions as well. So thank you so much for joining me in this, and I'm gonna create a poll with my top 5. So, and I'm not sure what those are yet. I need to spend some time with this in the next day before I post this video. So I'm gonna leave a little suspense there. I do have some favorites emerging. There are a few that are some good contenders here. So, but again, thank you all for your contributions and suggestions to this. So, all right, I feel very supported. All right, but I do have a task today, and that is what is behind me, the green wall. And Gina actually had a question about how I was gonna treat that. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna caulk all these seams, these gaps, but I'm gonna leave them with a little bit of texture. I want the texture on this wall. I don't wanna hide the fact that it is piecemeal. It's a patchwork. It's a texture, it's a tapestry. So first thing I'm gonna do is wipe down some of these boards, have a little bit of mud on them, some Georgia clay. I'm sure you're not surprised about that. Wipe it down, caulk, and then I'm going to paint it. Because I think one of the things I've been trying to do is beautify along the way. So instead of waiting to the very end to make things look pretty, I've been trying to add some beauty to this mess along the way. So, all right, let's get to it. Yeah, so this wasn't the greatest idea, but I'm kind of committed now, so let's go. Pretty much made a mess of this, but you can't tell from here. This was a, we'll call this a hack job, but anyway, I think it's gonna get the job done. What I do want to do before this stuff sets up is come back with a damp cloth and kind of smooth things out a little bit, maybe clean up the mess I made with these fingertip methods. Anyway, stand by. Alright, so the caulking is done, and now I'm actually going to let this dry overnight. The main concern with the smudges around the edges, I didn't want them to appear lumpy. What's interesting right now is that I can see kind of the patchwork, the outlines of the panels on the wall. It's kind of nice. Now that my wall is dry, I'm going to give it a quick light sand just to make sure any of the ridges are gone. Alright, so I've got the wall sanded and ready to paint. I had one little problem area there in the middle where the corners were popping up, so I just nailed that down. It will just add to the texture. So I want this wall to be gray, but not the dark gray. But I want it in the same color family, so I'm actually going to mix that color using my dark gray and some white. It won't take a lot of gray to get to the color that I want, plus I also want to save some of my dark gray in its pure form for touch-ups as well. Just a touch darker. I'm going to switch directions on the drill. Once more. Alright, that'll do. It's a nice soft gray. I had to do it. The happy dance. I'm really pleased with how this is looking. I can tell it's gonna need another coat, even though the white paint that I added was Kills, which should help block some of those stains. I think some of them will come through just given the lightness of this color. I also need to see how it dries down because it looks pretty light in terms of the gray. I may actually adjust that color, make it slightly darker, but I won't know for sure until it dries. Whew. Thanks again for all of your name contributions, and check out the poll to vote for your favorite. But even if I didn't pick yours, I'm going to memorialize all of them, putting them on a little plaque or something that I'll put on the wall over here somewhere so that your contribution is recorded. Anyway, in addition to being read in this video, I do want to have a place where they're all posted for posterity. What a change to see that wall light and clean, to still be able to see the texture in that. Just makes me happy. All right, that's it for this week, and thanks again for following along in the process. We'll see you next time.